All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OnlyFans, a Dolphins postgame show presented by Sports with SoSo. I'm one of your three co-hosts today, the delusional Dolphin, aka Joel. With me, as always, is the star of this show, SoSo. SoSo, how are you?
What it do? What it do?
And we also got our friend, the skeptical Dolphin, Martin Ortega. Martin, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just taking it all in. Week one.
Well, we're definitely gonna get into it real deep. I mean, we got the good, the bad, the ugly. At the end of the day, the Dolphins came away with the victory in their home opener against the New England Patriots, 20-7. And the purpose of this show and what we want to do with it is just give us, our initial reaction, break down what we thought were some of the highlights, some of the lowlights, and all around our initial reaction to this game. So, what do you guys think?
Well, let's get into it. We had the Dolphins taking on the hated AFC East rival Patriots at home to start off week one of the 2022-2023 football season. And this game was always going to be a hotly contested game, right? We know it's a rival. We obviously have this history with the Patriots dating back to before the Tom Brady days with Bledsoe and whatnot. And this game was super important because we had a couple of debuts, right? Tyreek Hill making his debut for the Dolphins at home, Mike McDaniel making his coaching debut for the Dolphins, and it was a hot one. And the Dolphins definitely played it smart. They gave the other sideline to the Patriots, had them wear their dark blue jerseys, which I'm sure affected them in some way or some form or fashion because, man, like I said, it was hot out there today. I don't know if you guys stepped outside today, but I almost melted.
No, I tried not to, man. It's the first day of football. I have this ritual where I just try to sit down and be a lazy POS and just watch football all day, and that includes the Dolphins game. But yeah, it was a scorcher.
It was hot out there, man, and we saw a couple of big plays, right, on the defensive side. We saw some things happening on offensive side of the football as well, and I think we should jump straight into it. Martin, let's start with you, man. What did you think of the game, right? And offensively, as you and Joel were looking at that side of the ball while I was looking at the defensive side of the ball, what stood out to you offensively today?
I'm not gonna start negative today. I'll start, being a little. All right, so we do understand this is a new system. We do understand Tua's still learning the playbook. There's no way in just an off season you're gonna get it. Obviously, you're gonna get your rhythm and not in the actual season. Things started off a little slow, but again, like I mentioned, it's all brand new. All right, so now that I'm gonna give you my realistic take, our offense honestly was the biggest problem today. I don't think we ran the ball enough. I do believe 32 throws or whatever this guy Tua had was a little too much. I felt like we could have ran the ball a little better. Our offensive line struggled in the beginning. I think it got a little better as the game progressed. Although we did lose Jackson and somebody else as well when the game started.
Yeah, you pointed out the running game, dog, and that's something that I know I personally harped on wanting to see that part of the game excel. We weren't committed to it as much as I thought we would be, right? Because I thought that we would use the running game to set up play action and stuff like that. But Mike McDaniel and the offensive coordinator had different plans. They came out firing today. Wouldn't you say, Joel?
Yeah. This was definitely going to be the first time that we saw Mike McDaniels as a head coach in the NFL, and we got to see what he was going to do for the Dolphins. And if he's going to play to Tua's strong suits and play to Tyreek's strong suits, right? And I think we did see a lot of that. I think that Tua made the throws that he needed to make, and we had the stats there up for him. He was 23 for 33, 270 and a touchdown. It got a little sloppy towards the end of the game. There was a couple of things that he did, as far as like trying to get rid of the ball and almost being taken down and kind of not looking mobile enough to get away from the pass rush towards the end of the game. I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know if it was the heat that we alluded to earlier. But at the end of the day, that stat line looks good. There was no interceptions. There was one that he got away with because the two defenders on the Patriots side were not communicating, and one of them basically swatted it away from the other one. If not, that would have been a pick for Tua. But no pick goes on the card. He does get a touchdown. He connects with Jalen Waddle on a beautiful, 30, 40-yard touchdown pass. So there was a lot of good. It wasn't perfect by any means. There was a lot of room for improvement, a lot more, better decision making to be had there. But I did see glimpses and flashes that I did like from Tua, and I don't want to be as hard on him.
I got you. And for me, right, I felt like offensively, yeah, we definitely struggled, and the offensive line was a big part of that. I thought that we were gonna do a better job, especially since Terrence Armstead didn't play a single game in the preseason, right? I knew that there was gonna be struggles up there with the offensive line, who's covering who. We saw a couple of, excuse me, a couple of sacks on Tua today, which I really didn't think were on him, right? It was more on the offensive line, not knowing who to block in the gap, not knowing who's coming around on the stunt, and ultimately that putting Tua in a tough position. But if we stick to the topic of Tua, right, which is where I think we should start the show, right? We always got to start with the quarterback, most important position on the field. In my book, he got a C minus today, right? He got a C minus in my opinion because he made a lot of bad throws, like short, hit the ground 4-3, 2 yards in front of the receiver, and that type of shit is like a no for me, right? Because there's no excuse. It feels to me that when that happens is because he's rushing the throw, right, or he's trying to make something happen on the fly. Other times he just had time and had somebody in his face and he had to get rid of it quickly, which I can give him that. But those little shortcomings really killed me. And also, like you said, he got sloppy towards the end of the third and fourth quarter, right, where he knows he's about to take a sack or something like that, and he's trying to force a throw or trying to like spike the ball down or something like that. You can get away with that shit once in the game, maybe twice, but it was like almost 3 to 5 times where he had that happen to him in the game, and I just wasn't standing for it, honestly.
Yeah, the great news for Tua is that he had the defense that he had to help him out and get him out of the holes that he was digging for himself towards the end of the game. The defense balled out, man. That right there is a topic of conversation right there for this game, is that defense.
I mean, I was tweeting on it, on the Twitter handle. Make sure you guys are following that at Sports with SoSo on Twitter. Going to be breaking down those games. I was tweeting about the offensive line and the defensive line. I felt like the offensive line, like I said, they were getting kind of manhandled in the beginning. The D line was also getting manhandled in the beginning. Like, it wasn't on that first drive. I felt like they did whatever they wanted until it got time for them to throw the ball towards Xavier Howard's side. And that's just never going to work, right? We saw him come up with 2 big plays. We saw the rookie, Kader Kahu, make huge plays today. And ultimately, the defense won the game for the Dolphins, right? Because they put the pressure on Mac Jones. They made him force throws. He got hit, a strip sack where Melvin Ingram picked it up and ran it in, which, by the way, that guy is nuts because he plays football with no gloves. I don't understand how guys do that, dog.
He's a savage, bro. That guy's huge.
You gotta be, dog.
Right,
you
Martin?
gotta be. Yeah.
Now that we got that out of the way, no, man, yeah, the defense looked on point. I mean, I'll tell you what, though. So the defense also had a couple errors. There was a couple times where the Damian Harris. I mean, let me pull that up for us. Damian Harris, 9 carries, 48 yards. Not crazy, but there was a couple times where he got into that second layer of the defense, right? And he just kind of exploded for that extra first down yardage. We didn't really see that from Ramondre Stevenson, the other guy that was actually on my fantasy team. So, okay, whatever. But Damian Harris was able to get a couple of those carries, and that right there is like, all right, it's gonna happen. You got to give up a player or two. I just hope that we can limit, the big time rushers, because Damian Harris, I mean, this isn't a real big threatening, running back core, right? But I want to see when we're playing the bigger, better backs, the speedier backs. Are we going to be able to contain those guys and avoid letting them get into the second layer of the defense?
For sure. And like, something that stood out to me, right, as I was paying more attention to the defense today, was the amount of missed tackles that we had. We missed we missed like 10 tackles, and they broke like another 6 tackles today, which for me is a big sticking point, because on those third downs where you make the first contact or the second contact and the guy's still up and he's still churning for first yardage, that shit's kind of disheartening, and it just makes the defense work a little bit harder, because now you got to go through another set of downs, right, in order to get off the field. What'd you think about the defense today, Martin?
Honestly, I don't know how I can really. I guess there's obviously miscues that are going to happen. It's the first game of the year. But if I will say that I'm just happy, I'd be lying. It's an understatement. I felt like it was very good. I felt we got exactly what we wanted. We put pressure on Mac Jones from all over the ball, safeties, corners blitzing, linebackers blitzing. I saw Mac Jones didn't seem comfortable until the end of the game, if even. And I felt like at that point is that we were exhausted. Our offense didn't do their part and stay on the field. So you can't really ask for more of the defense when they're just giving you their all.
Hell yeah, bro. And you brought up a great point. With about 4 minutes left, right? We had a big stop where Kahu, again, comes up with a big play, right? Makes a tackle, and we stop him on third down, forcing them to punt. And I tweeted it. I was like, okay, this is what real good teams do. That go out can win playoff games, whether it's at home, on the road, when they have the lead and the other team is challenging and threatening and all this stuff, and they get the ball back, they kill the game. Whether they score a touchdown or they kill the clock completely. And with 4 minutes left, when the Dolphins got the ball, we had a quick 3-and-out. And I was like, shit, man, like that's not the response I wanted from a game that is with an AFC East rival, super important game, especially for the first game of the season. Like I wanted to see them have that urgency, and I just didn't get it, until like certain points of the game where we obviously got to Mac Jones and he messed up and forced some shit.
But not only it got me upset, honestly, to see that our defense was stepping up so much, and it felt like, the offense was like, don't worry, the defense will take care of it. Like that's the type of game I saw from the offense, and it honestly bothered me throughout. That's just my opinion. I know obviously you guys are probably going to have a different take on that, but throughout the game, that's what I felt.
I felt like it was 50-50 because, to be honest, like in the first half, right, the defense was getting kind of pushed around, right, because they were able to run the ball, get first downs, drove all the way down the field multiple times, but we just happened to make a big stop on third downs when we needed them. Offensively, I just felt like we were forcing the Hill ball, right? Like 12 targets today. I think he had like 14 or 15 targets today. Ended up with 12 catches, 100 yards, I believe, right?
Over 100
8
yards. Catches.
No
8
touchdowns.
catches, 94 yards.
8 catches, 94 yards. So force feeding this dude, right? Where we're just targeting him all over the place. And it wasn't until that fourth down, that play, 4th and 7 in the second half, where Waddle and Tua connected, right, on that inside slant. Tua hit him right on the money, right in between the numbers. And then Waddle just did his thing, literally caught it, exploded for 3-4 yards, and then outran everybody else into the end zone. It was a beautiful throw and catch. But it wasn't until that moment that I was like, man, now we're trying to get other dudes involved. I didn't see nothing towards Gesicki today. Chase caught a couple of balls out the backfield. Mostert didn't really catch anything out the backfield. We saw Cedric Wilson catching the ball in the backfield and then coming out for a run. Like, I don't know. I felt like I didn't see enough route running from everybody else. It was just mostly Waddle or Hill and then a good dosage. What do you guys think?
I think that we can't be too critical about this particular game. It's the first game, for everybody. I know it's Tua's third year. A lot of these guys are coming back and everything, but as far as the game plan, the scheme, Mike McDaniels and what he's trying to do, I'm sure there's a couple plays that he wants back himself as far as a play call, maybe like that, like 4th and 1 where he went for it. He went for, instead of going for like the run right up the gut or anything to try to just get the first down, he ended up throwing, it was like a streak down the sideline to the fullback or like a wheel route. I don't even know what was going on there, but
it was a weird play.
It's a weird play, but then again, he gets redeemed later on in the game with that Waddle touchdown on 4th down that, the announcer was like, oh, this is a terrible decision. I don't agree with this at all. And then touchdown, he was like, you know what do I know? That's why I'm over here commentating. So he redeemed himself there, but I'm sure there's still things there that he's trying to figure out. The O-line, again, that didn't look great. It needs to improve. It did a little bit better. That's where, Tua was able to do some things early on in the game, but a lot of the time that he had pressure in his face was later on in the game, and that's attributed a lot to the O-line. So I think that it's tougher, if you're calling certain plays and you need the fundamental blocking to be done up front, it's hard for you to get the result that you need with the pass and everything else if you're not just getting that off the rip. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, in my opinion, I think that it was a decent showing. I'm not going to say it was a spectacular showing. It's a spectacular result. We won the game. Right. We won our home opener. We haven't done that since Nick Saban coached in 2005. That's the first time the Dolphins win a home opener. It's ridiculous. It's against a division rival. We won. What was the score? 20-7. So we won by double digits. Covered that spread for you gamblers out there. Make sure you're taking the Phans. As a Dolphins fan, we're excited, man. Everything that we've been hyped about all off season, came to fruition in this week one game, and it's something to be happy about. We can't be overly critical about the mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. I mean, look at the Steelers and against the Bengals. The Steelers had that game won pretty much and ended up going to overtime and had to win that in a dogfight in overtime. Right. I mean, the NFL, it's not given. This is all earned, and the Dolphins earned this victory today against the Patriots.
Yeah, I guess I'll leave one. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Martin.
No, I guess my last point to that, and this will be my last negative comment of the day.
Nah, I don't believe that shit.
That's a lie. You don't even believe that.
I'm gonna keep my word. Last comment of the day. Well, I'm not saying, hey, the offense didn't do anything. The offense looked sloppy. I'm not saying that. But when your only touchdown of the game comes on a 4th and 7, which if we were in punting position, like in a position to actually be able to punt, that touchdown doesn't happen. So you got to understand both sides of what I'm looking at and the other side of just, hey, it's week one. Let's let it slide.
No,
it is what it is.
I don't think anybody is gonna let the offense slide this week, right? Because we're gonna look at what the offense did and be like, man, we could have done this much better. We could have done this much better. We could have done this much better. And those are the things that help us build week to week, right? We know that it's not gonna be a change like that, right? It's going to take time for the offense to build that offensive line to build that chemistry, right? For the running game to get going, have a real commitment behind it. I like the fact that they gave Chase those 12 carries. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like there was a certain point in that game where him and Mostert really had a good rhythm going, right? And it was like, all right, a 3-yard carry Chase, and then another carry by Mostert, and then Chase with the catch for like 4 or 5 yards for the first down, and then boom, the offense got rolling that way. My whole thing with how the game turned out was, again, I knew we were going to beat them, right? It's hard to give away a 14 plus advantage and lose at home, especially in the fourth quarter. Once we got to that mid fourth quarter, but I wanted us to put them away, and I don't think that we saw that, and I don't think we're at that level yet where we can put teams away. And this Patriots team is not that great. Let's be honest. We should have put them away, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you guys are talking about, and I get it. The one lone touchdown that we had came on a 4th down play that could have very easily not been the case, and we're sitting here looking at a 13-7 victory instead of a 20-7 victory.
Right.
Yes, there needs to be improvement, but I disagree. I think we did put it away. You look at the time of possession. We had the ball longer than the Patriots did, 32 minutes to 27 minutes. First downs, we had more first downs than them, 18-17. Third down efficiency, we were 6 for 14. They were a little more efficient, but we had more down. We had more opportunities at third down. We had more drives that kept developing and moving along. It wasn't near perfect, but like I said, there's a lot of good. And at the end of the day, everybody looked healthy, with the exception of the O-line that, I think it was Jackson that went down, Martin, right? That's what you said?
Correct. And then
went down late.
Somebody came in and then got hurt as well.
Yeah,
and
so that
over the right.
That's a concern right there. Why? Because we saw last year, game 2 last season, a missed block led to Tua getting tackled from the blind side and missing 6 or 7 games last year. So we can't have that. We need to have a healthy O-line, and they need to get their shit together. I really do believe, if we get that O-line going and Mike McDaniel starts incorporating more of that run from Raheem Mostert and from Chase Edmonds, then we won't rely on Tua that late in the game to make those plays where he's scrambling and fighting for his life. So
and look for all
that run game up.
And for all the negative stuff that we can say about Tua, right? One real big positive stat that he had today as a quarterback was being 7 of 10 on third downs throwing the ball. 7 of 10. That's 70% on third down. Getting the first down. That is critical. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not a 50-yard throw. Maybe it's not like a 20-yard, out. But keeping the chains moving when you're in third down, that shit is important. And I think he did a good job of that today. He did a real good job of that today, going 7 of 10 on third down. Throwing the ball at that. It wasn't like a handoff play or something like that. Specifically in plays that we ultimately we got the win, right? It's always great to win at home, especially to start the season. Like you said, we hadn't done that since 2005. Tua, becomes the second quarterback to go 4-0 against Bill Belichick since the great John Elway. Dolphins own the Patriots right now. That's great. Hopefully, we can beat them again when we see them. And honestly, this is some good momentum heading into next week, which is another big game for us. You know, these first 4 games we talked about it, gonna be tough.
No, they're absolutely going to be tough. I mean, next week, we end up playing the Ravens, which is a tough team. But I'm already got my eyes set on 2 weeks against the Bills. So
Yep.
we're not going to get into these previews. For the previews, make sure you tune in to Sports with SoSo.
That's right.
Pretty much every Tuesday morning when we release those. Where we'll go in a little bit, whatever we missed on this show, we might touch on it there on the weekly podcast, and we'll also give you the preview for the next Phins game on there. So
hey, let's relax. We forgot Mr. Clutch to start the game, field goal, and one of the last field goals, 49-yarder. Clutch, you need those field goals today. I'm just saying.
Jason Sanders is back. Officially, he's back. And that's a great shout out, Martin Dog. That's a great shout out because last year we saw him struggle, right? And this year we were expecting him to return to that all-pro form that he was in, and he banged some big field goals today. Each one plus 40 yards. He even hit a 49er, like you said. And man, he just did his thing today. Very calm, didn't look disturbed at all. Looked very confident stepping into those kicks. I was really happy with our special teams play. And as a matter of fact, I got to give a shout out to the punter because he really held that change of possession. Like that, the field was big, man. We pinned them down inside the 20. I think it was like 4 times, especially in the fourth quarter where we pinned them inside the 5 twice. Those type of things, get overlooked in games, but sometimes they make the biggest difference.
Yeah, run forever. So yeah,
I totally understand what Martin's saying, man. When our defense and our special teams plays the way that they played in this game, which was phenomenal, it was outstanding. It's a little underwhelming to have the performance that the offense had. You would expect a little bit more to complement, the impact that both those units had, right? But it was a 30-30-30 split, right? We got 7 points from the offense, 7 from the defense, and we got another 6 to 7 from the special teams and kicking units. So well-balanced attack. Gotta love it, man.
We'll take it, dog. Hey, guys, we know that this offense is going to be a work in progress the entire season. And as long as they continue to build on each, performance in each game, we'll take it and we'll see how it goes. Yep. Now it's time for the part of the show where we do our 3 and Out segment. This 3 and Out segment is where we bring you our player of the game, our most valuable Fin of the game, and our unsung hero of the game. Now, Martin, I'm going to kick it to you. Who do you have for your player of the game?
Player of the game, and it's going to be weird because he didn't get as many targets. I'm going with Waddle. Waddle made some plays during drives that you didn't expect him because Hill was getting so much of a feature of the actual game plan, it seemed. Waddle came in, made big plays, scored that only touchdown on offense. That's my player of the game.
Great call. Joel, who do you got?
My player of the game is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. This was a defensive-minded game, so I think for the player of this game, I got Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones had 6 tackles, he had 5 assists, and he had 1 sack / forced fumble that led to the Ingram touchdown, which was a huge part of our game. So shout out to Brandon Jones. That's my player of the game for this game.
Another great call, man. My player of the game for today was Xavier Howard. I really felt like the times that the Patriots tried to go over the top, he was the one who made the difference, where it was pass interference or not. That just shows you how smart he is and how wily he is as a veteran to know how to get into positions to make those plays where he can deflect it, right? That Holland picked and took back. And also in another big one-on-one matchup downfield where the Patriots were trying to score a touchdown, he also blocked it, had I think he had a penalty called against him, which was whack, but he played great today. And I think obviously without his performance, the defense doesn't step up. Who's your most valuable Fin? We'll start in reverse order. Joel, you go first.
My most valuable Fin, man, it has to be number 10, the big offseason signing, man, Tyreek Hill. This man would turn, he turned like certain plays that had no, business gaining any yardage and got 5, 6, 7 tough yards out of it. He had an amazing catch that was well defended, should have been an interception. He got up there like he was 6'4", snagged the ball, got vertical, took it another 10 yards up the field, ended the game with let me pull that up. I got 8 catches, 94 yards, shy of the touchdown, but averaging 11.8 yards, per catch. That guy right there is going to be the difference maker. We need more offense. That's been a big theme of this episode, that
For
we
sure.
need more offense, and that's where we're going to get it. We're going to get the big play is going to come from Tyreek Hill. So that's my most valuable Finn.
Who do you got, Martin?
Honestly, I would love to say Hill, but it was Jones. Brandon Jones literally set the tone in the first half. It was just one of those, like, wherever we needed to play, he was there. He made it difficult for Mac Jones to move the ball. Yeah, easy call.
And he has some big tackles too, man. I'm gonna marry Joel's sentiment. I really think that the most valuable Finn today was Tyreek Hill. He made some big catches in the field, so did Waddle. But when you get targeted as much as you do, and you come up with almost all of those catches except for 2, and one of them was thrown in front of you, the other one was thrown behind you, that means that you just proved your value to this team, right? We went ahead and traded for him. We gave him the big contract. We gave up a first-round pick. And he showed every single reason why he's worth that. So that's why I have him as the most valuable Finn for today. Now, for the unsung hero, I'm going to get it started. And I'm going to give a big shout out to the rookie, Kadir Kahu. Man, like I said earlier, he has some really big plays, some really big hits. He caused the fumble. And again, made some big defensive stops for a position that is in such need of playmakers and people who can step up at that cornerback position. This man really made a name for himself today. And if he can keep this up, Dolphins just found the real corner there.
Oh, yeah, man. Love that.
Who do you got, Martin?
I'm going to agree with you. And honestly, it's weird to even say this because he literally came in the second half and actually showed something. Because in the first half, I honestly didn't see much from him. But the plays he made were enough to be like, this guy, especially when we saw Noah was inactive. I had mentioned to you, I was like, I didn't know who was going to come in and step into that role. And Needham stepped into Jones's role, and then everybody just slid up. And honestly, he worked out very well. Honestly, I can't say anybody else but him.
Yeah. What about you, Joel?
My unsung hero for this game is Tua Tagovailoa, our QB1, because I know
shit coming.
He's not gonna get the love he deserves. Yes, it was a little lackluster. Yes, it was a little underwhelming, but he did what we needed our QB1 to do, and that is go out there and get a victory. No, I'm not doing it for the ratings, because if I wanted to do it for the ratings, I would agree with you, because everybody that I speak to is a Tua hater. Nobody believes in Tua. Except for this guy here.
That's exactly why you're saying Tua. You're trying to bring in the tribe. That's what you're trying to do.
No, I disagree. I don't think that people don't believe in Tua. It's what I said earlier. In my opinion, I think that they need to see him prove it, right?
Please.
You were that high value pick, first round pick, top 5 pick. You need to go out there and prove it and play like that. You know what I mean? Game in, game out, not have those dumb mistakes. But here's what I will say, and I told this to a couple of the homies, and I also tweeted it out. For every bad throw that Tua made today, right? Immediately after, he made up for it with a good throw. And that's something that shows a lot of growth, right? Because before, that type of shit would get into his head, and then his bad throw, I'm unsure with it, and it looks weird as hell, and he goes down the hill. For me to see him bounce back in a game like this, that's so highly contested and stuff like that, really kind of not, the best offensive game that they could have had. I really think that he bounced back when he had made some bad throws. So I can see that.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I don't care. I don't want him throwing 32 times a game. I don't see him as that guy. Get the running game going. Let the defense do what they do, and let's get some wins.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. I don't want to see him throw the ball 30-something times every single game. I rather rely on the running game as well. I want to see that 1-2 combo with Chase and Mostert really take off, man, because those guys are explosive.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of that moving forward too. I mean, 12 carries for Edmonds and 5 for Mostert. I mean, we got to pump those numbers up. Those are some rookie numbers. So
yeah, man,
we gotta see more out of those guys. But any other closing thoughts, gentlemen, on this week 1 victory?
Martin, we'll start with you.
Like I just said, man, I didn't see enough attempts out of Mostert, and I understand the game plan was pass, play action, throw, play action, dump off, throw. I want to see run to pass. I want to see Mostert getting to Grant. McDaniel said 30 carries a game is what he expected. Don't say that and not do it. That's my closing statement.
That's fair, very fair. And I'm gonna echo those sentiments, man. I really want to see more in the running game. That's the reason why we went and got this running back core. I really feel like the offensive line has improved and will continue to improve, but we need to dedicate some type of realistic, consistency to the running game.
Yeah.
Joel,
No, absolutely. I agree. Hey man, any way that you spin it, a dub's a dub.
a
Doesn't
dub
matter.
is a dub, baby.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you have to take a
1-0.
drop. Doesn't matter if you topped one off the tee. If a par is a par, any way that you look at the scorecard, and that's what I'm
Hey,
looking at here is that this is a victory. So
absolutely.
fins up, baby.
Look, we saw two other of our weaker AFC East rivals take losses today, right? The Jets, and obviously we beat the Patriots. So we did our job. We need to keep doing that week in, week out, and we'll find ourselves in the playoff chase.
Hell
Those
yeah,
Bills
man.
are
Looking
looking
forward.
nice. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
well,
they are, man.
we got to worry about the Ravens first, so we're looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
we'll get to the Ravens. We'll get to the Bills later. Right now,
Yeah.
we're gonna enjoy this victory for today. We're gonna look forward to the Ravens game on the Sports with SoSo podcast, like Joel said. At this moment, we want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching the first of many Oni fans show that is going to be coming to you every week after a Dolphin game. So make sure you guys are subscribed, liking, and commenting on the videos, because that way you can tell a friend
To tell a friend.
to tell one more friend about this dope ass
Hey.
show, man. Joel, Martin, you know what time it is, man. We'll do this again.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, Dolphins.
Fins up, baby.